Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Let's get unstuck from central Pennsylvania again. What do you think? And let's head back to the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. But this time, we're going to participate in a 5K through the parks. I was fortunate enough to participate in the Wine and Dine 5K in October, and my sister Helen and my youngest daughter Leah were able to join me. And let me tell you what a blast we had. My sister's not even really a huge fan of Disney, but I think just the electrifying nature of the event and the fun that we had running through the parks, I think she even became a little bit of a fan. So without further ado, let's get unstuck from central Pennsylvania and head to the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida for the Wine and Dine 5K. So the day prior to the race, you are asked to go to the convention center to check in, and that is where we received our packets. And I'll show you the goodies that we received in our packets later, but we did hear a tip while we were at the convention center to make sure that you are on the bus for 4 a.m. So we were determined, we were getting up at 3 a.m. to get on one of the charter buses to take us to the event by 4 a.m. And we did it. Now, in hindsight, was it necessary? Truth be told, no. And let me tell you why. We were in one of the later corrals. So there were corrals from A to F, and my sister, my daughter, and I ended up being in corral F. So basically, we are one of the last people to start the race. And I believe there were 4 different crews that went out in each corral. So it is a lot of people. And something to remember about the 5K itself, it is not necessarily a timed race. Do people enter the 5K to do a PR? Yes. Do most people? I would have to say no, because there's a lot of stopping for character pictures. There's a lot of stopping for pictures around the park because, hey, it's empty, it's at night, you're the only people in there, you're in there for a special event. So that is something to remember too. Now, the 10K, the half marathon, and the marathon, they are timed events. You actually have to keep up a pace. Balloon ladies will follow you, and I think they take you out of the race if you're not able to keep up. But the 5K is really more of a fun event. And that's why I wouldn't necessarily get up super early. I would just make sure that I would get there for the event start time, or maybe a little bit earlier. You're not going to miss out on all the fun. Plus, you'll get a little bit of extra sleep.
3, 2, 1,
Okay, so after waiting literally for about 2.5 hours to finally get to our corral, and that's fine, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time while we were waiting. There was dancing and singing, and there were characters walking about, and of course you got to see everybody's costumes, because this isn't an ordinary 5K, this is a Disney 5K. Plus we're there around Halloween, so most people had some sort of costume or tutu or some sort of reference to a Disney movie on their attire. I mean, even the people cheering us on had Disney-themed signs, and they had ears and pom-poms, and the Disney Cruise Line charter bus came to cheer us on as well. That was a nice surprise. So anyway, after about 2.5 hours, our corral got going about 6 a.m.-ish, maybe 6:07 a.m. was the time that I recall. And what they do is you run basically through the parking lot. You kind of go around the long way, and then you enter EPCOT through the back. Now, here we are walking past one of those character meet and greets, and this is none other than the dreamy Kristoff from Frozen. Now, can cartoon characters be dreamy? Well, that's an argument for another day, but as you can see, there was a pretty long line to meet Kristoff, but we were not waiting to meet Kristoff. We were excited. We just made it to mile number 1. I mean, how cool was that? Marking mile number 1 with the University High School band cheering you on. Of course, I got there at a bad time. They were finishing up their song, but amazing nonetheless. Okay, now we're getting to the real meat of the matter, and I don't know about anyone else, but this was probably the most exciting part for me. We're entering EPCOT when the park is closed. As you can see to the left, that's Test Track. It's just so amazing to be here, coming into EPCOT from an entrance that you normally wouldn't see unless you're an employee. And although the entire event from the start was just a ton of fun, we were having the time of our lives, this part made it real. It was the moment we were all waiting for. We were finally walking through EPCOT. Or running. Some people were running. As you can see, there was another character meet and greet. This was Chef Goofy. And again, there was a pretty long line, so we decided to just keep on our 5K adventure. And I don't know if I'm capturing it or not, but everybody was having so much fun. It looks like I'm just walking amongst people walking through the park, but there was music blasting, there were people cheering us on, cast members were cheering us on, so it really was such a fun community event to be a part of. That's another thing. I would love to just blast the music as it was for us as we were going around the park, but of course I'll get a copyright strike, and I don't want that. I really want to just bring you the excitement and the fun and everything there is to see during a 5K event through Run Disney. Okay, I'm going to speed up the video here just a little bit. If you're an EPCOT fan, a Disney fan, you probably know where I am in the parks. We just kind of passed the big ball, and we're walking down that lane which is taking us to World Showcase. And of course, at this time of year, EPCOT was set up for the Food and Wine Festival, so that's why we are at the aptly named Wine and Dine 5K through EPCOT. Can we talk about, even though there were a ton of people doing the 5K, the park itself really did seem peaceful and serene. It was nice to see it. Even though we had to get up super early and we looked at our watches and we were like, wait, it's 7 a.m. and we're in EPCOT, but it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It made it all worth it. So we're about to enter the countries in EPCOT. So for the most part, I'm just going to let you enjoy the view, enjoy the ride. And if there's something that I think is notable, I will pop in to let you know what we were looking at, what we were seeing. But otherwise, enjoy. Okay, so this is one of those areas that blew my mind. We got to the China Pavilion, and of course, you're going to meet Mulan at the China Pavilion. But I have to tell you, my mind was blown at the line to meet Mulan during this 5K. And hey, to each their own. I'm happy for you. If it meant that much for you, that is awesome. I may have stayed and waited in line if it were different circumstances, but you know, I kind of just thought it was going to be a little line, and then it caught my eye that this line went from China Pavilion all the way past some of the food and wine booths for India. We walked across the bridge to kind of get over to the Africa markets, I was blown away. And I don't know exactly how, I'm sure they keep these lines moving, but still, hey, you go. You're getting what you want. You're living the dream. So I just wanted to share my experience with the lines to meet some of the characters. Truly amazing. So as we're getting closer to the America Pavilion, one of the things that was a nice feature was they had a water station, and cast members were here not only handing out water, but they were cheering us on. And yes, it was a fun run. Yes, it was a fun race, but it was still nice to see that encouragement from the cast members just saying, you can do it, you got this, not much that further to go. So that was a really nice, encouraging part of the race as well. And one of the things I didn't talk about yet was the weather. Now, it was October, so it was warm and humid, but as you could see, there was a little bit of a cool breeze in the air. It was 7 o'clock in the morning after all, but the clothing pretty much ran the gamut. We saw tank tops to sweatshirts and everything in between. We are getting close to the end of the 5K, and as you can see, there are signs that Disney World is starting to wake up. The monorails passed us. We saw 2 in this video, and we are getting close to the exit. We're going to go under the great big ball, as we call it in our family, as I'm sure other families do as well. That is the wonderful, magnificent spaceship Earth. And as we round this corner, we are getting ready to exit the park, and truly it is bittersweet because you're tired, it's early, but you really wish moments like that would last forever. Admittedly, I started tearing up at this part. I mean, you're near the end and you're walking up on gospel singers cheering you on with their beautiful music. I wish I could play it. I know that I'll get a strike, so I'm not going to, but they were singing Larger Than Life by the Backstreet Boys when we initially were there, and then Roar by Katy Perry as we passed by. And I have heard from many Run Disney participants that that is one of the most treasured parts of this whole experience. What a way to wrap up this race. It's so funny because when you're in the parks and you're under those lights, it seems like daylight is quickly going to approach, but once you get out of the parks and out of those lights, it's still pretty dark out. But we are about to turn the corner and hit that 3.1 mile marker. That means that we officially are about to complete the Run Disney Wine and Dine 5K. And I'm just going to let the audio roll because you're going to see the true excitement that came over me when I saw who was waiting for us at the finish line. All I'm going to say is Disney brings out the child in all of us.
Absolutely.
Mickey!
Oh,
look, there's Mickey!
It's our moment. Here we go.
Woo!
Her name was Kitty.
Hi, Mickey! Hi, Mickey!
This is from the new Taylor Swift album, okay?
So I wanted to give you an idea of the swag bag that you get. There is a moisture wicking top with the Wine and Dine logo and the year that you're there, along with your bib. We also received an awesome 5K medal. I will treasure this forever. In fact, it is hanging right by my desk at work, and I look at it for inspiration every day. Now the big question, would I ever do a Run Disney event again? And the answer is absolutely. I will never forget this experience. We made so many memories. It was such an incredible bonding experience with my daughter and my sister. I only have 2 regrets. 1, that I didn't do it sooner, and 2, that I couldn't bring my whole family with me. But I hope that is something we can do together in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments, have you done a Run Disney event before? What did you think? Would you do it again? I hope I did this experience justice because it truly was amazing. I hope you liked the video. Please do like and share. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love to take you on our next adventure. We'll see you next time.